We are discussing flooring options today. There are many different flooring options for typically more the topping of the floor. I want to talk about what we don't usually see straight off the bat first, though. When you are looking at a studio or training or building your own floor, you want to make sure that it is sprung. This is safety 101 for dancers. With all the jumps that we do, we need to make sure that the flooring, the subflooring area is sprung. If it is not, we are more inclined to have injuries, we're more inclined to be on the fast track to some tendonitis, things of that nature, and it's not good. You'll find that sometimes you will have to dance on a solid floor like cement or tile or things like that when you are doing performances, but this should not be part of your regular training. When you look at a floor, you can usually tell that it's sprung somehow by the height. So you would see the normal floor that's like cement or carpet or whatever, and there would be some kind of a height difference going into the studio. Sometimes this has a ramp leading up to it, sometimes it's a step. There's different setups for that, but you would notice that there is a height change. Underneath that, it's basically a bunch of wood. There's other materials that are in use now, but it's all woven together essentially to create a sprung platform as a foundation for our top floor. This allows the floor to breathe. This allows it to be more acoustically sound for those who are tap dancing. It allows for when we jump on it, the air can compress and spread out. And so it takes a little bit of getting used to if you're not used to dancing on a sprung floor. There are different levels of spring sometimes that you'll find with that, depending on what it's made out of. There are also different ways to make it more advantageous. So I'll use our studio as an example. Given the spacing and what we use our floor for, our dance floor is portable. It is built out of basically stage decks, but it is designed to be acoustically sound for tap, so it amplifies our sound and makes it more crystal clear. It is also supported underneath, so that way it has some forgiveness, so that when we jump, it allows the air to expand out and we don't bust the floor. It also allows for us to pick it up and take it with us when we go to do shows, and allow for our dancers to still be dancing in a safe fashion instead of always dancing on a potentially not sprung floor. To talk about the top now, I have heard dancers over the years say that they refuse to go to a studio for the fact that a studio has marley as their top coat and they just don't like marley, or they would refuse to train at a studio because they don't like wood floors. This kind of breaks my heart. Now, I will tell you firsthand, I myself am not entirely a fan of dancing on what is referred to often as a marley floor. To be point blank, that term is a little outdated. True marley floors don't actually even exist anymore, but we still use the term in reference to the top floor and what it's made out of and what its purpose is. The flooring in reference is kind of like what we would refer to a long time ago as like a linoleum type flooring. And so it's kind of like a vinyl type top, and it allows you to have different options. Some are designed so that way you can tap dance on the marley. Others are designed so you can have more of a ballet focus without having to use rosin, there are different types of just that top flooring alone. Our other option would be wood of some kind. And there's actually been some changes since different interlocking top floors have come out a bit more, and we've had a bit more options with those. And there's different ways that that responds as well. So when you're talking about wood floor, the reason that is one of my personal favorites to dance on is because it is really receptive to tap sounds. So you'll hear a much more crystal clear sound just in general dancing on a wood floor. You will also find that if you're doing ballet, yes, you would need to use rosin, but you are more in control. You have the ability to increase the traction or decrease it to your personal needs instead of sometimes being stuck, I would say, on a marley floor. Now, this is just my personal preference. That doesn't mean I'm not going to dance on a marley floor. That doesn't mean I'm sitting there like in rage at the concept of dancing on a marley floor. It just means that it is a personal preference for myself. There are also the options of Masonite. Masonite is usually used in theaters. It is a really easy way for the stage to be painted and changed for every single show that's happening, and they're easy to remove and repair in the event of damage. Our dance floor is actually a Masonite topping that gets painted because, again, we use it for our shows. It's actually quite wonderful to work with because you're able to, again, repair it fast. You're able to have the feeling of dancing on a wood floor, but still have a bit of the Marley look. I can tell you right now, no matter how hard you search, you will never find a perfect dance floor. There's always going to be something going on. There are likely to be some tape seams. Those can peel up. It happens, it's part of life. There can sometimes be, even if they're countersunk, sometimes screws will sneak up. That happens too, especially if there's more dancers out there. The screws usually have to be placed back down, especially on a sprung floor, to make sure that it's safe for everyone. But on occasion, especially when a floor is first set, you can find that the screws will sneak out once in a while. You'll also find that some of the other more vinyl marley type floor coats can also bubble. Some of them are permanent, some are semi-permanent. They each come with their own challenges, so you'll sometimes find breaks in the seams and things like that if it's not perfectly fit together. These are all different things that happen. It doesn't mean that you should choose just one and run with it. That should not be your deciding factor whether you're going to train with someone or not. Flooring is just, it's options, and everyone has their reason why they prefer one over another, and it's just something that you should be aware of when you are dancing on them, how to respond to them. Again, when you're dancing on marley, more often than not, and this is something you would have to ask what kind of coat it is, if you need rosin or hairspray of any kind, or if you don't use it at all. If you're dancing on a wood floor, again, you're probably going to be needing rosin or whatever if you're dancing on point. These are all different things that you take in consideration based on the type of floor that you would be dancing on, and you just work with it. Reason we always have those items packed in our dance bag too, so we are ready whenever we need them. I will see you tomorrow as we talk about mirrors. I will see you then.